All right, good Friday to you all. We are going to try to do this as quick as possible. I'm trying to keep these under 20 minutes now. So let's just jump right into it. What we're going to look at today is the total market, actually total 2 market cap. We're going to talk about this little guy here, Wen Moon, and things like the alt season index. And then I'm going to jump over here to Nansen, and we're going to look at some of the tokens that have been most accumulated. So let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to show you the chart for the alt season index here in a second. My market top target is around, I'd say 3 trillion. That's kind of the conservative target for the total 2. It could reach all the way up here between 5 and 13 trillion as well. So I just want to give you those targets if you want to watch for them. So let me bring this over and make sure that you can actually see it when I do. Hang on one second. Okay, here we go. All right, so what I want to illustrate here is you can see here October 2023, first alt impulse, alt index was 18. So that was, kind of right in here. This is the total 2 I'm looking at here on the left before the pump for altcoins. So if we look at October 2023, let me go back here. Be right here actually. So notice that as I go through this, you're going to notice something. If we're calling this like 0 line, actually it's 25, but I'm just going to call it the 0 line, and then up here is the 100 line, and somewhere in between that is a 50. And there's kind of like a midline, probably about right here. So what you're going to notice is as things push up, even though they get above the Bitcoin season line here, which I know you can't see that. Over here it says Bitcoin season for that line, altcoin season for this line. I think that's incorrect. For me, the altcoin season line is 50. It's right in the middle of these 2 lines. So if we look here at October 2023, that coincides with this right here. We got above the Bitcoin line, and then it rejected temporarily, and then it pushed above that midline there. And you'll see here as things progress, that's when things got really bullish, like things turned up much more aggressively. I mean, yeah, if it gets above that lower line there, it can get bullish, but the problem is sometimes it gets above the line and then it rejects and nothing really happens. But regardless, if you're above that line, usually that means there's altcoin accumulation, and that's what was happening during this time. But then you got this big push up to the very top of the line. And according to this thing anyway, it doesn't really call it altcoin season until, it gets above here. But the problem with that is it's short lived. I mean, you've got to be accumulating down here. You can't wait till right here. It's too late. So if we look at what that top was, it was January 2024. So that was March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, here's January, February right here. So you did get one more push after it hit that. But where you lost it, where things started going down was right here in March. And I'm going to talk seasonality here in a minute because it is important. So if you look at March, right there, that's when things started going down. So this was pretty short-lived, October 2023 to March 2024. We actually called the very top on my Twitter. I was talking about that this was the top. And, of course, we just got a bull flag and it went up some more. But, if you can catch these tops and then reinvest your money at the bottoms, you're going to be much better off because you can compound that money. So the small amount of funds you have turns into a lot by the end. So if we continue to look at this, it pumped again in September 2024, which is, let me go over a little bit here. Here we go, right here. So, you got this downtrend, and you could even draw like a trend line here. I have to do it this way to show you. If I snip this and do like that, and then I draw. So just like any other chart, if you drew a trend line at these tops, you could be entering right there instead, and waiting. So if we look and see what that is, that would be right here, September 2024. So that would have been perfect for an entry. Let me find my deal again. I kind of lost it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so at this point, we had another pump, which it did dip down one more time to the line. But notice when this thing really pumped above that 50 line there, that's what I was talking about. This would have been, what, November 23rd? So that was right about here in the middle somewhere. It kind of broke out of this resistance, and that's why it looked like that. You know, it had a massive move, and then it called it alt season again. So that's what you're looking for. This was actually an inverted head and shoulders as well. You know, look for patterns in this. This was a breakout of these two peaks right here. This like a double top. So you can actually use this as a chart, you know, just like you would anything else, and be watching for this. This is blockchaincenter.net. Altcoin season index is the name of it. But again, as long as the lines or the you know, the choppy lines here above the Bitcoin season line, you know, this is where you have to be accumulating. So if we go forward here, you know, now we've broken, this is present time, by the way. We've broken above this line. We had a big move, and now it's coming back to retest that move. So if I was looking at it, let me snip this again for you, just so you can see what I'm looking at anyway. If I was looking at it here, I would draw a line there, and I would say it's probably going to come down, you know, somewhere there and pump again. I don't know the exact timing on this, but we're going to look at that. But you know, this makes sense to me from a standpoint of, and really it could even be this. You know, it could even come down a little bit more. But you know, looking at it from a standpoint of trend lines and things like that, this makes sense to me. So I don't think we have much longer to wait. I do want to point out that if we're looking at that seasonality, and by the way, we're hitting some resistance right now. So, you know, are we going to do some kind of triangle? And I'm not saying it's going to last this long. You know, what you could see is something where it holds this line this time, you know, about the 50 line right here. It does a 50% retracement. And then it, you know, breaks out of that. And that's when, you know, it gets really strong at that point, once it breaks out of this resistance up here. So I would say that's the resistance line right there. But what I was going to say about this is we do tend to pump around, you know, November. Well, I would say September, October, November, we tend to pump into December, you know, maybe even longer, maybe into Q1 of 2026. You know, this kind of time could really be different. If we were going to end this cycle, the normal time, you know, the 1,071 days from bottom to top, like I've showed on the presidential chart before, then we would end sometime in October, maybe November if it extended a little bit further. However, if we were going to follow, you know, these are the two ideas to keep in mind. If we were going to follow the idea that we tend to pump in October, which has happened a lot this cycle, and then top in March, then you'd want to be accumulating over these next 2 months, and then, you know, sell sometime between October and March of next year, or take profits, you know, incrementally, which you should be doing. You know, don't try to take it all at once. Don't round trip this time. And by the way, as far as round tripping goes, you know, there's a way to protect yourself from that. And I can show you that right here. Let me just remove the lines here. So this is Engineering Robo. You can see, this is actually the weekly chart. It even gives pretty good signals on the weekly. But you can see it gives you AI buy and AI sell signals. And if you are interested in this, you know, this Tradingview indicator that will tell you exactly when to take profits and when to buy, you can go down into the description of this video, you know, down below here where the video is at, and look at the description, and there's a 7-day free trial. So you can try it out. You know, it's no risk. Just try it out for 7 days, see if you like it. If you do, get the AI version. It's the best one. It does have some nice features to it. You can even get it to show you, you know, automated support and resistance lines. It has like green cloud and red cloud to show you how bullish or bearish things are. Yeah, so there's your support resistance lines. There's your green and red cloud. So you can see when this lost this level right here, even though you had a sell signal way up here, this gave you a lot more confidence it was coming down. You could have shorted the market right here as well. So, you know, there's a lot in, like right here, the support, perfect buy off the support. So these combine really well if you want to look into using something like this. All right, so let's, I think we talked about this enough. Let's just look at a few more things. Nansen is showing us that this accumulation line, the blue line coming across here at the very bottom, we are bouncing off of that, which is good. At one time we had 11%, you know, back here there was about 11%, even 8 or 9% of all altcoins on CoinGecko were bullish. Now we're up to 16%. So we are seeing some accumulation by whales, by smart money, by top 100 wallet holders. We are seeing some accumulation even by retail. There's no way this number goes up unless people are accumulating. And so now that we're at 16% of all CoinGecko altcoins that are bullish, we're going to start seeing this number push up again. And the top's going to be somewhere between 60% and 90%. That's when the 2021 top happened. So when your altcoins, your total market, all altcoins are 60 to 90% bullish, that's when you want to start looking for that next top. Right now, this bull market peak indicator is still at the top. Thing that looks at 30 different indicators, it's staying to continue to hold. There's no sell signals just yet. Bitcoin dominance could see a little bit of a bounce here. We're seeing this little green candle right here and that wick. I believe that this is going to roll over. This has been very aggressive for Bitcoin dominance. So I think we're going to see it roll over some more this year. But, timing, we don't know exactly. It could happen on October where it continues to roll over, or it could be that, in August we start to see more rollover. But it is having somewhat of a resurgence along with DXY. They're coming up a little bit. Sometimes when you get a huge candle like this down, it will retrace at about 50%. So that's what I'm looking for, maybe something like this, and then it starts dipping further, which would also be a lower high indicating weakness. Let's see. So we do have a CME gap that we're coming into right now for the Bitcoin futures. It has covered that CME gap perfectly right now. So is this a bull flag? I think it's very possible that it is. So if we hold this line right here about 114K, then maybe it's just some consolidation and then we start moving again. But there are some targets down here that it could hit. I don't think we're coming down here to the 90K region, but if we were to look at something like the volume profile of this, then our next target would be something like 109K, which would make sense. And there's another one here. It's about 103K, kind of in this shoulder area. So I would say it probably wouldn't come below that, 103 to 109K, only if we lose this level. And then as we come back up, there's a ton of volume right here at 118K that it's going to have to get above before it gets bullish again. So 118K is our resistance level right now. And I think that's it. Let's jump into Nansen. I think you're really going to like this, what I'm going to show with Nansen, because it's going to show you how to find tokens that, the top 100 wallets or smart money or, public figures, maybe whales. It's what they are accumulating currently. And you can look at different time frames. I'm going to show you that as well. So if I was looking for something, if I'm jumping in today and I just want to see from a macro perspective over the last 7 days, what are people accumulating and how many smart money traders or what retail are jumping into it, this is how I would start. So right now, by the way, this is live. So if you jumped all the way down to like a 5-minute chart, notice how this, I got to switch. I forgot I've got it on different sectors. Let me put it on all sectors again. All right, so see how it says live right here? If I hover down here, it pauses it. See how it switches? So this is how you know it is live. It is actually, like if you just hovered right here for like 15 minutes or something, you may miss something. It may refresh here. But if you keep it off here, it'll stay live and it'll actually update you if something changes. So let me just jump back to what I had. We're going to go back to a 7-day chart or 7 days. And I'm only going to select sectors that I want to see. So I'm going to eliminate meme coins in this situation because I want to see what, what low, mid, high caps are being accumulated so I can make some money off this next altcoin run, things I want to accumulate. So we'll look at DeFi, data source oracles, AI, DPN, DSI. We'll look at GameFi and Metaverse. Is that all? Oh yeah, real world assets for sure. Okay, those are the ones we'll look at. We're going to look at any token age. Doesn't matter when it was created. And I'm only looking at Base, Solana, and Ethereum. Those are the only ones I care about, but you can change that there if you want. So we're just looking at smart money. I can look at net flows and say, okay, here's Kita. This is one that we did a 10x on in our group. Our group's not open right now, our Discord, but when it is open, hopefully next month, you can find the link below. Don't try to join right now though, because it's not open. So Oh, and before I forget, there's a 10% discount for Nansen below as well, if you want that. So KTA, it's up 28% over the last 7 days. Net flows are the highest out of any other token right now. But you got a lot of other ones like TAO, INSP. You know, there's definitely some recognizable ones here. I'm sure you'll see PAAL. What is PAAL doing lately? It's down 26%. You know, PAAL could be in an accumulation zone, so we're going to look at that one. Net flows aren't great on it, but they would pick up pretty quickly. Now, right here is where you're going to see all the smart money wallets that are involved in these tokens. So out of all of these that we're looking at currently, this GP one has the most. It has 7 smart money wallets. Kita has 2. So there's probably been some people taking profits on Kita, and that's why it's a little bit lower. But if you're really interested in smart money, this is where you would look at all these metrics for it. If you wanted to look at retail and see what they're accumulating, it's going to be things like Syrup, which we found that one very early as well. HNT, Pingu. There's Kita. Retail was in that one as well. Super. Seems like Super might be one that's being accumulated recently, so we're going to look at that one as well. So I'm trying to find tokens for you and show you how I research so that we can find some things that you might want to jump into. Of course, if you see something that's way up, probably not a good idea to jump into it. Maybe let it cool down first. Okay, and we could also look at things like 24-hour, see what people have been accumulating over the last 24 hours. There's TAO. TAO might be a good one to look at. I'm sure y'all probably want to look at AAVE as well. What else? IO has been seeing some activity. Fartcoin is such a large market cap. I'm not all that interested in it, but you can see the metrics for it there. So we're on 24-hour. If you just wanted to look at large caps, here's your large caps. And so it's some of the ones we've already looked at. There's FET. Looks like it might be finding a bottom possibly. Sand. I think we'll look at Sand as well. I just want to look at some of these older ones. Maybe these are some you want to jump into. But the newer tokens we want to look at as well, right? So in that case, you'd want to look at mid caps, small caps. Those are newer tokens from this year. HNT keeps showing up. We should probably look at that one. I suspect that a lot of these tokens are doing the same thing. They're kind of in a support area, or some have broken out and they're retesting a level or something like that. Let's see, CHEX, what is it doing? Yeah, it looks like it might have broken out and it's retesting. Let's look at some small caps. Yeah, TAO is at the top actually. That's surprising. I didn't know it was a small cap. So small cap, by the way, Nansen will tell you that's between 1 million and 50 million market cap. What else do we see down here? I'm just trying to find anything that looks familiar to me. I'm not really seeing anything except TAO, which I did bring up. So if we switch back to 7-day, let's just see what else. Bonk Soul here is at the top. Of course, this is retail, by the way. I probably should switch back. I want to switch back to Smart Money for the 24-hour. Vert AI, Palm. I think Palm was doing something not too long ago. So that's small. Here's mid. And again, you can see how many smart money are in it here. DSYNC. Did I bring up PAAL already? I think I did, but I'll bring it up again. And we're going to look more closely at these. Virtual is always there, it seems like, but I mean, it's pretty high market cap at this point, but it still may be something you want to look into. One thing I wanted to mention is stable coins were extracted off of exchanges and went to cold wallets since, when is this, July 24th. So at some point these stable coins are going to be used to buy up altcoins, and I believe it is happening right now. They are, Smart Money Retail, whoever pulled it off the exchange, they're going to deploy those very soon again, at least by September, I would believe, because that would be our seasonality when things would start to pump again, unless we get that August pump and things are different this time, which it could happen. Okay, I think that's all we want to look at on this. So let's look at some of these tokens real quick. Again, I want to keep this under 20 minutes if I can. We're at 20 minutes right now, so I got to hurry. Maybe we can keep it under 30 minutes at least. But I want to do everything I can for y'all here to show you this stuff. So yeah, I mean, it looks like definitely a support level here for PAAL. If we look at the holders and just see what's happening, Smart money is, over the last 30 days anyway, smart money has accumulated 37%. It's 37% higher. Whales as well are up 37%. And top 100 addresses, you can see the accumulation happening here as price is coming down. This is Super Farm. Yeah, I mean, it did hit a level, well, actually, this is a very old level that it hit and it bounced off of. So to me, this is just accumulation before another move up. So if you like Super Farm, this would be a good one to accumulate, I believe, as things dip right now. You can see there's definitely been an accumulation here for top 100 holders. Smart money not as involved right now, but they could be. Wrapped TAO, which is the same thing as TAO. It's the same exact thing. You know, this one's been just sideways for a long time. So expect this one to break out for sure, because it really didn't make much of a move before. Let me see here. I'm just trying to see what this move was. Well, I take that back. It was a 12X. But since March 2024, this thing's just been consolidating sideways and down a little bit. I believe it is building up momentum. So if you want to accumulate this one, then I think, you know, somewhere above 300 is probably a good number. Anywhere from like 300 to where it's at now. If we look at the holders, yeah, top 100 addresses are accumulating. This looks like it wants to dip a little bit more maybe, but you're definitely getting an accumulation here over the last 30 days. You can even look at the last 7 days and see what's happening. There's still accumulation over the last 7 days. It's in the green. So, you know, somebody's seeing value in this. They want to keep buying. AAVE, very high market cap. It has made a pretty strong move already. So, you know, expect this one to consolidate some more, I believe, since it has already made a move. Let's just see what the holders are telling us here. Yeah, somebody's still accumulating, but you're starting to see this price roll over here. Whatever, last 7 days, what is it doing? Yeah, pretty flat last 7 days, not much going on, which I would expect since it was hitting a resistance level. We're definitely hitting a support level here on IO. I suspect this is probably going to hold. Maybe it goes sideways a little bit longer, but yeah, you're seeing a public figure here. The volume that has picked up over the last 30 days, 245% for them. Let's just see here. I mean, look how reactive Nansen is, by the way. You can click through the stuff. It reacts pretty quickly. As price went down to this support level, this public figure right here, what is their name? KirbyOnGeo.eth. They are accumulating this. So whales are accumulating as well. So, you know, maybe this is one you want to buy at support. Always buy support, you know, when things are very cheap, and then sell at the top. That's what you're trying to do every time. FET, ASI Alliance. I thought this was Fetch. Anyway, there's one here named FET that is at a support level as well. You know, there's probably some kind of, I don't know where this would end up at, but you know, it hasn't broken this trend line yet anyway, so I don't think it's ready to go, but it is at an accumulation area if you like this token. I don't really know what this token is. I thought it was Fetch at first, unless they changed their name. Yeah, I don't know. But somebody is accumulating here over the last 30 days. Not a whole lot. You know, whales have actually sold some. Let's see what the 7-day shows. Kind of flat. Yeah, not a whole lot happening right now on this one. Okay, Sand, this is a gaming token, you know, right at support, long-term support. So you could look at, you know, maybe accumulating this one soon. Looks like it could be a bull flag or just more chop and then finally break out. And if we look at the holders on this one, last 30 days, not a whole lot. It looks like it might be sideways. Well, it's up a little bit, but if we look at 7 days, well, yeah, last 7 days it's up as well. Looks like it's not up much, but it's the top 100 addresses that are accumulating. Yeah, this is a very powerful thing, this holders tab for Nansen. It would help you a lot. This is Helium Network. Yeah, definitely down into some support. It's been in a downward range, so when it breaks out of this level around $4, it could really get going, since it's been, you know, kind of going mostly sideways for a long time. What was this move that it had before? Yeah, it wasn't even much of a move here. It was like a, you know, 3x move right there. So once this thing breaks out, I think it could exceed this $9 mark at some point. And then as far as holders go, And none of this is financial advice, by the way. I'm just kind of showing you what I see. I'm not saying that I'm buying any of these tokens. This is just how you can go about researching each day or each week. Maybe you just want to look once per week. Let's see, top 100 are accumulating it currently, although it is rolling over some. And then 7-day, yeah, whales are accumulating a little bit. It's kind of flat, but you know, you've got some accumulation here. It's kind of choppy. What do we have now? Let's see, CHEX. Yeah, right into a support zone. I mean, look how this is like a recurring theme. All these alts are heading into support. And so I would suspect, you know, it could sweep a little bit lower, but I would suspect this would hold soon. And then your holders are likely accumulating. Yeah, they're accumulating here. So yeah, it looks pretty good. Palm AI, same thing. You know, it's just a sideways consolidation move here. Eventually it will break out of it, I suspect. Holders, what are they doing? Top 100 are accumulating it. Smart money's accumulating a little bit as well. So as things dip more, you tend to see them accumulate more as well. You know, they want to take advantage of that cheaper price. And over the last 7 days, it's all in the green here. You know, you're definitely seeing some movement. DSYNC, this was one we called very early on this move. It was a 40x move, and we called it way down here. And the way that I found it was Nansen, by the way. So let's see, holders. Yeah, steady accumulation here as it drops into a support level. Let's see what 7 days shows. Yep, all in the green except for whales. PAAL we already looked at, and virtual. Okay, so virtual is the last one we'll look at. You know, this is a lower high. Actually, that was a lower high as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this one came down here still. I mean, it's just been very strong lately, right? So it needs more time to consolidate. People have been making money. They're trying to, you know, take profits. Very strong project, obviously. It's been one of the best this cycle. But you are seeing some accumulation here. Smart money's accumulating as well. Although that's coming down, meaning some people are taking profits as well. So, you know, as this is coming down, smart money's taking profits. So that means that the reason it's coming down is somebody that is considered a smart money wallet is accumulating a lot, or has accumulated a lot, sorry, and they're selling a lot. Okay, that's where I'm going to end it. Again, I wanted to keep these short for you. We will do another one next week. And until then, y'all have a good weekend. Take care.